So Jinnie Fay, Jetmir's second, 3-mana 3/3. Whenever you make a token, you instead make a 2/2 cat with haste or a 3/1 dog with vigilance. So some cards don't work that you might wonder why they're not in here, such as, but not limited to, it's safe to just get Temple Garden. Wash Away would have been lights out for sure. I might Sorcery Speed the Virtue. This could be useful. As it stands, it really isn't. It's better than a random draw, so... Do I swing? I absolutely swing, right? This is a clue token? Yeah, we're swinging. I missed some damage, but I make up for it if I can make a 3/1, kinda. Oh. Does that change anything? Not really. I guess I'll just make a 3/1 now, instead of a 2/2, and whatever. That's okay. That could have been categorically worse, so... Really? Wow. Alright, another person all in on Rhystic Study, but it's in a turn that could be questionable. Actually, it is a bit questionable, but we'll see. Okay. A bit weird. Let's play you. What else does this do? Literally nothing. And they seem to have no way of flickering or bouncing or anything like that. That was very strange. Do I play this as a land? Yep. Alright, well it is a 7/7. It's not like that... I mean, it is a 7/7, so... yeah. Four, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Can still get around the Rhystic Study. I'm not sure... I mean, this was no River's Rebuke. That's for sure. That was definitely no River's Rebuke. And we play this now to get more stuff. And pass? Yep. I could just push 2 damage. I don't know why I would. Okay, that... I don't think that matters too much. Even if it just top decks like an extra turn, it sort of just cycles itself. So this does what? When it attacks, destroy an artifact, and then you can draw off that. So I'd rather my opponent not do that. Probably will do one of these on it. Probably Planar Disruption, maybe? Although... Planar Disruption could be useful against a scarier threat in the future. Okay, that's pretty solid. Well, is it? No, not really. Yeah, actually, that actually isn't as solid as I thought. Initially... imagine it was. Let's play this on... If I do it on the Cyclone Summoner, they can't swing. Oh, but they draw off the... Yeah, they draw. I don't want them to draw. Okay. Yeah, but they draw anyways, though. With their commander. So, they're going to draw regardless. But if they draw on their terms, they lose an artifact. So I guess that kind of equals out, yeah. They'll lose the Arcane Signet. Oh, they didn't even hesitate. They just did not do that. Alright. Interesting. Opponent wasn't interested. Uh-oh, they're going fishing. They're going fishing. Well, they're probably not actually going to go fishing. So I can shut off their one green land, but they still have Arcane Signet, which hasn't gone anywhere. Let's do this. If I target the summoner, they can use the summoner when the token leaves play, and it would happen again. And I don't think I like that. So let's take out their commander. It makes a clue token if I do that. I don't care. To me, this is the safest thing. Yep. It also means this O-ring doesn't have to stay in play. And this is prowess, so I can play this right now. I think that's better than anything else. It's not even that great, but it is what it is. Sure. Make a 3-1. Do not move the thing over. And still no attack. Still no attack. Sure. That's interesting. Opponent's playing some cards you don't normally see. Especially this thing, that's nuts. They get rid of Delighted Halfling. Almost surprised to see that. So this is a good creature for Virtue, but playing it as a land is about the same. I'm going to play it as a land, and I can disrupt that Teferi, and I probably should disrupt that Teferi, although I can try to kill it with damage. Very difficult, though, given what's in play. Yeah, I'm just going to do this. Blood Moon almost really hurt me as well. I gotta be wary. I can now swing with the 7/4. Oh. Really? Huh. Sure. If I swing with those, block, it dies. Okay, this is the best it's gonna get in my humble onions for these tokens. I really need to kill this. Oh wait, they can keep it alive. I think. Okay, it is alive. Tragic. Let's move the weapon here. No, I want it on the birds, probably. Surprised they've gone this long with only one green source. Very interesting. Overdue for an island, for sure. Alright, I'm just going to go straight into combat and take care of that card there. Go here. The fairy scene. A lot of cards here. What is that? Mystic Snake. Alright. I don't think I want to cast these just to make a token and shut down things I don't care too much about anyways. That block is definitely not a good idea because the bird has trample. I don't think Brazen Borrower mattered, but they did just lose it for free. It only blocks flyers anyways. When they get dig through time, they're touching their graveyard. So getting Brainstorm locked here would be good, and it's hard to shuffle here without a ramp spell. They can't use a fetch land. Alright. Play the card my opponent knows about. Oh, I only have one white source, chat. I actually have to tap the birds. That's tragic. Oh, it is what it is. But they know about this, so. Oh, we should bounce the summoner. Alright, they do bounce the summoner. Oh boy. It's gonna get a little crazy, I think. It's gonna get a bit crazy. Maybe I wanted to move the 7. Oh wow, they just took it. Why did they just take that? Oh, because between these two, you can bounce it infinitely. Alright, that's why. Because this picks up that and that picks up this. That's why they didn't block. I still have the capacity to make hasting... hasting 2/2s. Which I would say is... Oh, it doesn't pick up Fencer. Never mind, I lied. It doesn't actually work. Because it's a wizard. That is incredibly... insanely hyper-specific. So I can shut down all green mana outside of this thing. But it doesn't... Have they played a green... Oh, they have. Okay, I was about to say. So we want to cast stuff first. Like, we want to cast this. We want to cast... I mean, I have to cast this, so... Green for that. Green for this. And I am still very convinced I want to play this, so... That was I think a really good draw. I almost have lethal, but not quite. So let's play Commander. I think. Yep. They have a memory thing. Sure. I'll put it back to the command zone. I can just recast it. Should I? Oh wait, can I? Hold on, yes I can. 2 left. Play that now. Make a 3/1. And no attack. Alright, I'm just dodging a counterspell there by playing that there. Another red source. That was their top deck, because they hadn't played a land in a while. Which means nothing new. Okay. This heists you when it smacks you, right? Yeah. They also have no mana right now. They can't cast anything other than colorless cards. That was a interesting draw. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I lied. Okay. No matter what I do, I'm playing this. Before I do other math. Okay, is it lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attackers, 5 blockers. They take 2. Nothing of theirs except these die. And I lose my commander. Probably not worth it, because it's super lethal next turn, and I think I can afford to just not swing. If they sack their Arcane Signet, they have no green mana. I'm also at 33. Be surprised if I died to River's Rebuke or something. Maybe I shouldn't say too surprised. Alright, this probably exiles a green card for sure. Yep. Wow, they had a Nissa. That would have been very good. They probably just get rid of that now? No, get rid of the medallion for sure, right? You don't need the medallion anymore. You have enough mana. I'm sacking the medallion here. I don't know about that. I think losing access to your I don't know about that one. Don't know about that one. Alright, yep. We did it. Really good game. Really good game. That was interesting. We shall see. Well, that's unfortunate. Probably would have liked to have left up Minotized, but no, that's fine. It's a side grade. Oh, wow, it was an upgrade. Alright. Was not expecting that. So do I play my own? I think I do play my own. Cultivate. And get 2 mountains. Oh, there's only 1 mountain in my deck. Uh-oh, what have I done? The auto land thing only put 1 mountain in. Probably fine. I think there's plenty of red sources, and there's not a lot of this, so... But I can pay more attention to that. Well, we lose if they have mana drain, so... It is what it is. Okay, there's no mana drain. But I don't have anything that makes tokens that I can cast. Wow, they just sent the loot. Wow, alright. I did not expect that. Alright, we have problems here. We definitely have problems. Can I play this randomly? I can. Alright. I can technically make tokens with this card. I did not expect to get color screwed so bad in the first game like that. Kind of tragic. Definitely survivable though. I'm gonna make a 2/2 with haste. I get to start attacking my opponent. Oh, that's good. And I can play it... Yeah, I can play it now. It doesn't have to be the attacker. It's been a while since I've played that card. Look at that. We gave the dog haste with Adeline. Alright, they need a board wipe. And I think that's it, really. That is not a board wipe. Oh, yes it is. Yes it is. Yes it is. Yes, it is. Smothering Tithe. That is technically another red mana. This has haste, though. Yeah, we're going to definitely play... Well, actually, let's play this first. What is this 1 mana card we got over there? What is that? What's going on? Alright, we found the second red. These have haste. It's a 2-turn clock on its own as well. But the board is still lethal. This can't find anything out of my deck, but it can from my opponent's. It does not. Alright. Oh, actually it did. It found blockers. Alright, never mind. I didn't expect that. It found blockers. Also, this is going to copy a lot of cards right here. This is going to copy 4 things. If my commander was in play, that would be a lot of hasting cats. But my commander is not in play. Alright, so if I play this first, I actually get... Wait a minute. It doesn't matter, right? Okay, just a cat has to die, so I can play this first. It doesn't actually have to be a Johnny's cat. Which is actually kind of cool. That, I think that completely forces lethal. Pretty sure it does, yeah. Because if any cat dies in combat, they lose the game. So I will make more cats. Alright, Desperation. It's Holly here. It has to be phenomenal. Okay, they did find Lightning Bolt for a Johnny. A Tali in a deck with counter spells. That's odd. Yeah, I didn't really notice that. I hadn't put that together. A Johnny does actually flip very easily. It doesn't rely on its own token, which it almost always does. Do I play my commander or Pakal turn 2? Probably this. Get that going now is probably better. Especially if whatever I play first dies, I would like this to take that. Does that change anything? No, not really. Yep, I'm just playing this. I'm kind of in a pickle. So do I expect my opponent to counter anything? Probably. me. So, make 2/2s? Might as well play this? Yeah, because I can't swing with the Mystic. So. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, over count it. Well, I mean, I'm just asking the question of, do you have a board wipe? That's all this game boils down to, and they don't, so we win. Alright, that's about it. I was just board wipe checking my opponent. That's about all that was. I'm really debating to take these out. I think I'm going to take these out. Every time these are in my hand, it feels like a complete waste of space. I'm taking these out. I'm so not a fan of these kinds of effects. Sacred Foundry is not in my deck anymore. Can just get a forest, actually. I don't need red mana, technically. Jetmir. Could get Stomping Grounds. Alright. Fine. This is really bad if my opponent interacts with me in some kind of... Well, wait. No, it's not. It just is what it is. They either do or they don't. Looks like they do. Of course they do. Yep. What does this do? Moving will counter. Okay, I don't care about that. Did I have the ability to path this? I did not. I did not. Okay. I don't think I was going to block with that anyways. They ended up killing it anyways. Okay. So we have lifelink here, right? Yeah, it's not that much though. Let's play our commander again. Lose the game when it doesn't work. It does draw a card. Does that make... No, it doesn't change my mind, really. I think there's only 2 spectacle cards you can play in mono red. I'm gonna have to path this Ferocidon. That's one of the best cards against me, I would argue. Or close to it. I will do it now. Yeah, I could do it on my opponent's turn to, like, stop the land from being untapped, but... No, I'm gonna just do it now. Best to be mana efficient. So I can play my commander. I can play this. And then exile... No, I want to wait a turn, though. I'm going to assume my opponent's whole turn is going to be casting this thing. Alright, they kill the tokens so I don't get anything off the saga. That would make sense to me. They play the best red card in the game. Probably better than Ragavan now, to be completely honest. Probably. And I can mill myself again. Maybe there's no reason. Not the best draw. Play this. This. Okay, that's really good, but I think I have to do this. And I should exile this. I also maybe should not have attacked there. Probably should not have attacked there, actually. Opponent had a pretty decent trade. That was definitely a mistake, but they didn't take the trade. So I guess we lucked out, but definitely not the best thing I've done. Not my greatest play. Interesting. So let's get rid of Ragavan. And that's it. This has Ward 2, so they can't target it with this Eternalized thing. Again, I'm in a position where I can't, like, play this and then do other things. Wait, can I? No, I'm one off. Because I really want to play this. Yep. Let's get 2 tough... Actually, no, we'll get dogs. I don't think I'm scared of my opponent doing things. What does this flip into? 4-3. Block that and that. Tithe not looking too brilliant there. Am I dead at 6? Block, block. 1, 2, 3, 4. And technically not. Technically not. Block, block. Okay, now I'm dead. No, I'm dead. Alright. Also, I forgot to play my land. It doesn't matter, but I did forget to play my land. Alright, so this is an excellent, excellent example as to why I detest these cards. They come in too late, and they're just irrelevant by the time they matter. Also, I'm pretty sure this was giving my opponent another 1/1, right? Yeah, this actually gives Squee... I shouldn't have even played it. It gives Squee more tokens, so... I'm not gonna Blood Moon turn 2. Honestly, probably could have just got a mountain here. Yeah, I could have just got a basic mountain, to be completely honest. It's about the same one after you cast Blood Moon, so... Should I play Blood Moon? Most assuredly. These also come in untapped. Doesn't really matter, but oh, it's interesting. Nope, can't crack that. Alright, there it is. Yep, that's why you play Blood Moon. Blood Moon and Winter Moon, just to get those random wins. Doesn't really play into the strategy at all, but, you know, I'll take it. We take them. That's why we're running it. Oh, I'm on the play. Look at that. It is possible. I have double green, right? Okay. Do I swing? No. Alright, well, I guess I wanted to swing. A land is fine. Do I cast? Yeah, I cast Guide here, right? Could just wait. No, I'm gonna cast it. I'm gonna cast it. No shot you trade. Wow. That, I struggle to agree with that. Alright, well, I'm gonna replay this. They minused it? Oh, yeah, I guess that was in my graveyard. So I want to kill Liliana? Or do I want to kill Tasha? Probably Liliana. I don't really care about Tasha's plus, but I also do kind of care about Tasha's plus, and I can just discard Mana Tithe. Alright. Alright, yeah. I think they wanted to plus the Tasha there. I don't know. I can't make out what I'm looking at. I don't get this art. It's scaring me. Wow, Forest Untapped Pass. Literal world first. Actually world first. This doesn't do much. Basriket right now is good, because it doesn't get better later. Probably could have tried to play my commander. Maybe. No. No, I'm going to play Basriket. I'm going to really want to deal with that. So I'm going to go ahead and try to deal with that here. I don't want that. Let's put the counter here. Probably doesn't really matter where I put the counter, but... Alright, look at that. Look at that. Basriket too scary. Yeah, you usually play the first sliver just for a 5-color value pile. Sometimes it's slivers, but it's usually 5-color value. It's like 5-color, all the good cards in the game. I could have blitzed for Winter Moon, Blood Moon. Kind of lame, but that's what they're in the deck for. Could have done that. Oh, well, less effective now. That is debatable. No, I'm playing this. This is probably as fast as I could possibly be. Well, no, Ragavan on 1 would make it slightly faster. So, Mentor or Basriket? Oh, look, it's Ragavan. Well, that kind of answers my question for me. I'm gonna play Basriket in minus, because I have to kill my opponent. They go to 1. We have Lightning Bolt in the deck, and they cannot crack another fetch land. And they also have to actually deal with my board. It isn't like it's gone. They did not get a black-white Surveil land. If they cast First Sliver, it has to high roll super crazy. They do not cast the First Sliver because they have Perfect Answer to hand. Alright, well, get wrecked. Get wrecked, First Sliver. Never feel bad about that. Never feel bad about that. I almost cast Ragavan, too, and would have lost my dashing ability. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't even mentally register it had dash, because I so rarely cast it for dash. I saw the sweeper, and I thought, we have to do this back and forth now with no haste threats, but I got back to my turn. I'm like, wait a minute, this has more text on it. Alright, I'm done with this. I am done with this, so we're over it. I'm over it. Maybe not we, but I am. So, I still think Elspeth is the best token strategy. I don't believe I've ever actually played this. I thought I'd give it a shot, but the red isn't that amazing. I do like the treasure tokens turning into creatures. That is pretty neat. It didn't come up too much, but that was neat. The Chandra I ended up taking out. It was the only double red card, and I was a little light on how many red sources I had. So, you know. The Winter Moon, Blood Moon, just there to scam people. It did happen. That's it. It doesn't lead to an interesting game. You just play it and you win. Or you don't, and the game continues. Which most games don't really care too much about these. But sometimes, you know, that is. So if you don't care about this, then you don't have to run them. But you will scam people for sure. Like, there's a First Sliver, you scam them. Any 5-color thing. Ujin basically loses unless it's Ujin that doesn't play a bunch of dumb lands for no reason. Stuff like that. But when it comes to making creature tokens, this is alright. It's alright. It's not the worst token generating thing in the game, but I don't think it's the best. Maybe it's like top 5, because you can play it turn 2, and that is quite massive, honestly. And it has access to green, unlike the mono white ones like you know, Elspeth and stuff. I never actually cast this. A lot of our games really boiled down to 1, 2, 3, and anything beyond 3 was not terribly useful, because then it starts getting too slow, and then the slower you are, the more interested you are in, most likely, in making a wide board. And wide boards just crumble to heavily played cards, like River's Rebuke and Cyclonic Rift. There is not a ton of board wipes still. I mean, I say that every time I talk about going wide. Historic Brawl, there's not a ton of sweepers. We did get hit by a ton of sweepers today, but I'm still confident that there's actually not as many as one would have. One would think there are, given the past 3 hours of playing just now. Outside of playing this on turn 2, it's really nightmarish when it dies. You're back to like playing boring random tokens that don't suddenly get very scary. Like the 2/2s having haste is pretty impactful, and just making 3/1s for out of nowhere damage is also impactful. Like, what was the really big one? Voice of Victory. Just making 3/1s is crazy, right? Starting turn right on turn 3 actually. Play it turn 2, play this turn 3, then you start swinging for 7. That is a lot, and your opponent can't interact with you on your turn because yay. I didn't feel like I had room for cards you cast can't be countered things like Rhythm of the Wild and whatnot. I did have Cavern. I don't believe I had a single game where Cavern was in play. I didn't have a single game where I cast Rabble Rousing or Elspeth. Sometimes I got some of these 4s in play. I did cast the 6-mana side of this, but I mean, I lost. It didn't do anything. I had no board. It was after a board wipe. And I don't know if I cast this. I don't believe I ever cast this for either side. So, really, anything that costs more than 3 has to really be worth it. Token doublers, I'm telling you they're a trap. I'm saying it now. You shouldn't play the token doublers like Anointed Procession and what's the other one? Doubling Season. There's like 4 or 5. Don't play them. That you have to take an entire turn off to cast a 4 or 5 mana card that does stone cold nothing unless you are already making tokens with the most ideal scenario of some sort of token generating creature like this already in play, while this is also ideally in play. But then you have this in play with the token generating thing. You don't really need to double up. You're clearly doing what you want to do. You should in that scenario be ahead already, or keeping up, quote unquote, with your opponent, and you would rather your 5 mana card be some sort of out of nowhere more damage. Which, yeah, it is sometimes if you pre-combat 2/2 hastes and spam them with Doubling Season or whatever, but not like this could sort of do that. Oh, wait, no, this doesn't create attackers. It just creates tokens. Like, this is just better in this commander, in my opinion. You just make flashing 2/2s, and that's, or 3/1s even, and that feels way more scary for your opponent. But you can make haste threats on your turn with this, right? Play your commander, and then you do that. And you're not getting treasure tokens, you're just getting 2/2s. I just really, yeah, and especially how the token doublers aren't necessarily win more, right? You don't just start to actually dogpile your opponent with, well, dogs when you play Anointed Procession. It doesn't just mean you win. It doesn't do anything at all unless you have something to create tokens with, right? And it itself does not make tokens. I would rather the card in that slot make tokens. You do have to play token generating cards, right? That is the serious, actually probably the largest, by far, the largest downside of token commanders is they don't create tokens, which is, you know, that's where Elspeth kind of changes the entire dynamic of what token strategies are capable of, because it creates the tokens itself, right? Riz the Redeemed is extremely slow and doesn't do much for a long time. But this one does everything you want right on it. So if you want to play a token strategy, this is still the best one, in my opinion. If it's not the most quote-unquote powerful one, it is by far the most consistent one. And can be played in multiple different ways, honestly. Basri Ket is cool. You're probably never getting to the ultimate, though. I got really close. I mean, you could say I did get the ultimate in a game where my opponent conceded, but I don't know if... I don't know how that would have panned out, honestly. This does not make tokens until later, but if you do play this, your opponent's probably far more concerned about this card sitting there than this thing. Right, so I think if that's the case, it should be played. Mondrak is probably an exception to everything I'm saying, because it itself is a creature, right? And it gives you some value if you're about to get swept or with a board wipe, and for some reason you didn't just instantly lose to a board wipe. You could probably get away with this one. That is to say, you could easily take this card out of the deck, and I would not blame you at all. But at least it's a creature, and it can have a pretty decent chance of being indestructible, which I would argue is pretty valuable, especially if your opponent is a Planeswalker-based commander and they cast board wipe, and then you have a 4/4, and it can just continuously harass them. So I am a fan of this card above all the others. But again, you don't need this. This one's still probably 50-50. It honestly is probably leaning towards taking it out than keeping it in, honestly. But there's something here, and thought I'd, keep it in. But, yep, so can't really recommend this one. It did feel worse than just playing Jetmir, right? Which wants to go wide, but doesn't need those things to be goofy tokens. Jetmir just play literally anything, and Jetmir gets scary out of the command zone, whereas that's not the case with this. Also, Jetmir is scary immediately. This has to be in play before it gets scary, So Jetmir can just be cast and then you swing. It's also, you know, your overrun. This is not also your overrun. This isn't even your token generator, right? Like it's a token converter. Definitely on the lower end of things, but not everything is tier 1, and that is totally fine. So let me know what you thought about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.